Spoiler alert!
Welcome to Spoiler Alert. I'm Ryan, and today this is going to be one of the easiest episodes ever because both of these are streaming movies. And of course, we are going to talk about the K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along experience and the Toledo movie, Eenie Meanie. And joining me today is our good friend Michael E. Cullen II.
Hello, everybody. How are you today?
All right, go ahead and tell people a little bit about yourself before we get going.
My name is Michael E. Cullen II. I am the co-host and producer of All Too Real 2, pop culture podcast, where we review movies and talk about pop culture things from time to time, sometimes do interviews with my co-host Sesame and Carta. And I'm also an actor, director, and writer, and a background actor in one of the movies we're talking about. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, we'll be sure to get your inside info when we get to that. So let's just start off with the reason you clicked on this straight away. The K-pop Demon Hunters sing-along experience. So when I wrote and edited the K-pop Demon Hunters video, it was August 2nd. I was in a hotel room for my birthday, and I just had like the sudden urge to create. So I sat there in my hotel room day after my birthday, and I started writing the K-pop Demon Hunters video because I was inspired after watching the first 8 minutes of K-pop Demon Hunters. And I was like, there's a video here. I gotta do this. And I got it done in less than a week. I uploaded it maybe a week later. And when I had written this, I was like, Netflix isn't going to do shit with this. They're probably just going to ship this off for Oscar screenings and that's it. Ordinary's still going to be on the fucking charts for the rest of the year. Not 2 days after I fucking uploaded that video, K-pop Demon Hunters gets a theatrical release. And then Golden defeated the demon known as Alex Warren. And I was like, thank you. I have never been more proud to be proven wrong. And I still stood firm by most of the things I said in that video. I really do love this movie. And I still stand firm by everything I said about that song in my video. I fucking hate that song with a passion. Thank Christ the new Deftones album dropped. And here's another bit of commentary with that video. I purposely slapped the K-pop Demon Hunters logo on the Kingdom of Heaven 4K Steelbook because I'm not a big fan of that film, and it would at the time of writing it was going up for upwards of $60 when it sold out.
Jeez.
So when I said I would totally buy the overpriced 4K Steelbook of K-pop Demon Hunters, I just simply slapped the K-pop Demon Hunters logo on the Kingdom of Heaven 4K Steelbook.
Why, like the older Kingdom of Heaven, like
Yeah, the Ridley Scott movie.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like that, why is that like popular all of a sudden, or so expensive all of a sudden?
Because of Disney and Sony's deal, Sony is distributing like their back catalog,
Mm.
and Disney is releasing popular back catalog titles like Tombstone and Kingdom of Heaven, and more recently Master and Commander, but they're doing limited, quote unquote, limited runs where
Oh.
they will sell out immediately if you don't act on them.
Then will it be put in the Disney Sony vault or something like the old
Yes and no, because I had just watched a physical media video before logging on that Kingdom of Heaven is now restocked.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's now $40 instead of like the $60 to $70 it was going at the time I was writing that.
So some people got screwed out of $20 or something out of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I was really stoked that K-pop Demon Hunters was getting a theatrical engagement. Because even when I watched the film on Netflix, I was like, this is a movie that needs to be seen with a crowd. I should not be watching this on my couch. This movie still has legs. Usually Netflix movies drop off after a week. I mean, nobody's really talking about Happy Gilmore 2 right now. They're still talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. I know for a fact that I'm probably going to design my favorite films of 2025 title card around K-pop Demon Hunters, because when I design my title cards or come up with a concept for them, I pick the film that I felt captured the zeitgeist of the film world that year.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very unique film. I mean, it's interesting to have a really well written, made movie, animated movie, I should say, that kind of like can appeal to like both kids and adults, and also, like guys and girls. And it's also got this like uniqueness to it where it's about K-pop and about Korean culture that we don't get enough of in, modern cinema, unless you're in Korea.
Yeah, and it's like I said in that video, it's amazing that we got not one but two films that center on the power of music, that focus on POC characters.
Hmm.
And I it completely went over my head, another bit of commentary, that the film took place in South Korea, and I was like, motherfucker. Because I read Huntrix as a very global band.
Yeah.
Like they were touring all it felt like they were touring all over the world, because the film implies they're a huge band with a global fan base.
Yeah.
So do the Saja boys.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that, honestly. I mean, I've only seen the film once, but I did love it. I sadly I don't have Netflix, so I had to borrow somebody's Netflix to watch it the time I watched it for my podcast. So that's
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
And for Dan Merle and Variety, this could very well end up being number one at the box office,
Nice.
which I find rather fascinating. And I was in a very packed house. And throughout this, I will provide video, because this is something I do not do. But I pulled out my phone to record reactions to everyone in the crowd. I went to go see this at Levi's Commons in Perrysburg because of how well behaved the crowd of 12-year-old boys was I was with for a Minecraft movie. I did not get the 12-year-old douchebag who brought a live chicken to the theater during the chicken jockey scene. I did not have that theater experience with Minecraft. If I did have that theater experience, the belt would have came off my fucking pants.
Yeah, you really, I mean, the only poultry that should be in a movie theater is like the chicken nuggets they sell at the counter.
Right? But having seen this film for a second time with an engaged crowd, put this over for me.
Yeah.
Because I had this at a 4 out of 5 initially. But when I watched this again for a second time, it got better. All the issues I had with this film kind of melted on a second viewing. So I just logged into Netflix and said, you know what? Fuck it. This is getting a 4.5.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I agree with the 4.5 on that. I think it's really good. It's, not quite a 5, but it's definitely a
Yeah.
4.5. Yeah.
Yeah. And it went from what would be in the almost made my list segment of my honorable mentions to more than likely being on the list proper by the end of the year for me.
Yeah.
But this is so much not going to be a review of the film, but rather my experience with it. I will talk about very specific scenes, but not exactly do a full on review of it, because I said all I really needed to say about K-pop Demon Hunters when I did my 6-minute video essay on the beginning of the film. I'd just be repeating myself.
I think you really want to be a character in K-pop Demon Hunters Part 2, or K-pop Zombie Hunters, or K-pop you know Beer Hunter. Wait, that's really rope.
Right.
I made the same joke on my podcast.
I know.
But
That's the beautiful thing about K-pop Demon Hunters. You can do different genres with this.
yeah.
Like, You could do metal demon hunters. You could do hip hop demon hunters. You could do a lot of things with this other than just K-pop.
Rehash.
And from what I've heard, like the K-pop demon hunters live action remake, and I was like, no, do not fucking do that. Do not fucking do that. Because
it works as an animated film.
Because this is a film that relies heavily on animation. You have speed lines, you have emotive expressions, you have unique character designs to this. And doing this in live action would defeat the purpose on how brilliant this film is.
My 6-year-old niece, great niece, was over the other day and we were watching like YouTube shorts that like made me feel dumber after I watched them all. But one of them was somebody attempting to reenact scenes from K-pop Demon Hunters in live action, and it just doesn't really work. Like you said, it's just, yeah, I mean, I know it's, that's just some amateurs, messing around with their phones or whatever making it, but it just doesn't work.
And going back to what I was talking about, with the K-pop Demon Hunter sing-along experience, the film is presented with the lyrics of the songs at the bottom of the screen, in which you sing along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about this is the kids in my audience knew this film verbatim. They were repeating back obscure lines from this film.
My 6-year-old niece knows all the words to Golden, and her mom won't even let her watch the movie after the first time seeing it because she thinks it's a little too mature for her age, and plus mainly the violence, only because my niece has some kind of like temper problems sometimes, so she doesn't want her to see violent movies. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's the beauty of K-pop Demon Hunters too. Like, this is an 80s PG. I love how fucking dark and intense this film will get. Like, specifically towards the end with like your idol and stuff like that. Like, yeah. So, of the songs that were played, Soda Pop got a huge pop, no pun intended. But surprisingly, most of the Sasha Boys music got pops.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I feel the same way I do about Huntrix when it comes to Soda Pop. It's catchy. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily dislike the song, but compared to the other numbers, it's one of the weaker ones. Like, it's a fine little bubblegum pop song, but it's not something I repeat listen to. Like, for example, I love movie musicals.
Yeah.
I will not listen to show tunes because I can't divorce show tunes from the context of the musical.
Yeah.
And most movie musicals don't have songs that stand alone from the original film. Like, you have to watch the movie for it to fully click. Yeah, musicals in general, for that matter.
A lot of them do, I mean, my favorite movie musical and my favorite movie of all time is Once. And that isn't reliant on, the soundtrack works on its own very well. The songs are very good independently, but the thing is like those songs were what the movie was written based upon. So it was like the songs came first and then the movie. So it's
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about very traditional show tunes.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I fucking love Sing Street, John Carney's next movie.
Yeah.
Like, I jam that whole soundtrack every time I'm on the road.
Yeah, I mean, his movies, the songs really work independently on most of them, and but when you got your traditional things like, I don't know, like West Side Story or something of that nature, you can't really necessarily divorce the tunes. And it's like, as much as I love Rent, I'm a Rent head, and I will listen to the soundtrack alone because I am a theater geek, but I can understand that doesn't really work on its own. Like, you can't listen to some of those songs independently from the musical itself.
And with what I was just saying with that is, you can listen to these songs on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They're all really good. Like, even if I don't necessarily like Free or Soda Pop, if I were listening to them on a radio station, I wouldn't necessarily change the channel for them. I'll let them play. Even though those are my least favorite songs from the movie. Yeah, all 7 of those mainline songs stand on their own. Like,
Yeah, I think, like Takedown and Golden are amazing.
yeah, exactly. Your Idol is the most metal villain song to come out since Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That song fucking rules. And one metal cover I do recommend is Andrew Bana's cover on YouTube.
Of Your Idol.
Your Idol, yeah.
Nice.
It is such an awesome cover. And going back to what I was saying about Free, when Rumi and Genu sing that, there was a big pop in that audience. But in the context of the scene, I feel Free kind of slows the movie to a crawl a little bit. Not necessarily by a lot, but it just kind of slows the movie down a little bit.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those songs that I don't necessarily hate, but it's like, compared to the other songs that are on the soundtrack, it's kind of the runt of the litter. And the other big pop, given my audience was mostly adolescent teenagers and K-pop stans, was Rumi and Genu as Genu dies to say Rumi. And I like the fact that Genu dies. That Genu gets an actual compelling arc through this film, where he goes from the regret of shutting his family out to sacrificing his life to save Rumi and to restore the Han moon.
And yeah, it's like the 2 movies we're talking about, not, spoiler alert for the next one, we both have the lead male characters die off. So
I know. Oops. And when that scene was happening, the adolescents in that crowd, it was like a fucking Beatles concert when that happened. They were all shrieking and shit. Once Huntrix performs This Is What It Sounds Like, it actually felt like I was at a concert. Everybody was singing along. Everybody was having a good time. And what was great about this viewing was everybody was engaged. Everybody was watching it. Everybody was invested. Save for maybe the one parent that was on their phone. And even then, I wouldn't have minded that given the nature of the screening. It was the sing-along screening. You're encouraged to sing along, get with the vibe of the movie. Now, if that same person had his phone out during, say, Weapons, one of my favorite films of the year, I was about to throw some fucking blows.
How crowded was the auditorium when you saw it?
It was like 3/4 crowded. Like, the only seats that were empty were like the ones towards the front, and even then, like, the back row was mostly filled. One of the things I did like about this is like the non-mainline soundtrack songs were getting people to sing along too. One of the things I did like was during the credits, a bunch of kids were doing cartwheels. And when you watch this movie with a crowd, you get why it's successful. You get why this made a profound impact on everybody across the world. It was just kind of a beautiful thing to experience. But I'm going to go ahead and personally rank the mainline songs.
Okay.
Number 7 is Free. Number 6 is Soda Pop. Number 5 is This Is What It Sounds Like. Number 4 is Golden. Number 3 is Takedown. Number 2 is How It's Done. And number 1 is Your Idol.
That's a good ranking. I think I can agree with most of that, yeah.
Going back to what I said, it's like, I'm not the biggest fan of Soda Pop and Free. Like, I do like them enough. It's just that the other 5 songs fucking rule so hard.
Yeah,
it's interesting to hear different soundscapes or perfect harmonies or how musically energetic those songs were. 278 widescreen scope of Your Idol.
I mean, I was really surprised by how good the music and the story were on this film. Like when Sesame wanted to cover it for our podcast after he had watched it with his niece, and I was like, yeah, I really don't want to watch a movie called K-pop Demon Hunters. And
I was the same way.
I went into it like just so like, okay, let's get this over with, and then I kind of got engrossed in it, and I was like, what the hell? So yeah.
Yeah, it was because of those first 8 minutes I wrote that video essay. I
Mhm.
was like, oh my God, this is inspiring me to write again. And that's the beauty of K-pop Demon Hunters. It's one of those movies that sneaks up on you. Like, you see that title and you're like, oh my God, this is the most pandering, cynical garbage ever. And then you go hit play on Netflix and it's like, oh my God, I am totally interested in this film. Okay, go on.
I mean,
Pitch your story to me.
the title does sound like something that like AI created to like Chat GPT, just like give me a catchy title that will engross, teenage girls and boys. And it's like, okay, girls like K-pop and so do boys, and then oh, demons are kind of cool. There we go. Yeah.
Exactly. And then 95 minutes later, you're pulling up the soundtrack on Spotify and just rocking the fuck out to it. So, yeah, needless to say, I love K-pop Demon Hunters. If you're not a K-pop stan, but you do love Toledo, stick around because we are talking about Eenie Meanie, a movie I knew I wanted to do a spoiler alert on because this is unique in that this takes place the climax of this film takes place in my hometown of Toledo, Ohio. Well, our hometown of
Yes.
Toledo, Ohio. And for those of you that don't know what Eenie Meanie is, it's on Hulu right now, but you can stream it on Hulu or Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And it was marketed as from the guys behind Deadpool, as if they marketed it like Rhett Reese and Paul Warnick wrote and directed this movie,
Yeah,
but it's not written by them. They just simply produced it.
Sean Simmons wrote and directed it, so yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Sean Simmons of the Continental fame. He's kind of a TV director kind of guy. But one of the things I will say about this is I love the fact that Toledo is getting a lot of love between this and within the next month, the paper is coming out, which
Yeah.
is in Toledo. Which, granted, that's probably gonna be mostly shot on sound stages.
It's all being shot in California. They
Yeah,
they dressed up some scenes and I mean some streets and stuff to look like Toledo. They came to Toledo, did a lot of research on for the paper, um, and they talked to the film commission. I mean, I'm pretty good friends with the president of the film commission, Michael DeSanto.
he's in the movie. I spotted him.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in. I'm in the same scene where you can see him prominently. Um, yeah, I was watching the movie with him last night, so um,
Yeah.
at a party that we had. Um, yeah, and he filled me in on a lot of behind the scenes of this and like other things. And I mean, they the Toledo Film, which is the Toledo Film Commission, it's called Film Toledo, not Toledo Film. I'm sorry. Film Toledo is like doing a lot to get a lot of stuff coming to Toledo. There's a lot of stuff he told me last night, not anything. He couldn't tell me any of the movies, but there's a few projects are that he's signed NDAs on that might be coming to Toledo very soon. So,
That is really cool.
yeah.
And the other thing I love about that is that this isn't like, oh, by the way, there's this new casino that opened in Cleveland.
Mhm.
You gotta do this poker tournament at. No, this climax literally takes place at Hollywood Casino by name in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool. And when this was being filmed, boomers were fucking big mad that Hollywood Casino was behind Eenie Meanie and how traffic was being backed out for this. And
The thing is it was only the the traffic was only backed up for like 1 or 2 days, and it was just the like Tarta was like rerouted and stuff, and they cut off like a little bit of area on I think Miami Street and stuff like that, but it wasn't like anything more than a day. So people getting all pissed off were just stupid as hell.
yeah, I know. It's like you go on the local news channels and you have people being big mad over everything like, oh, Hollywood elites are coming to Toledo to film their movie and I can't, and they closed off my street. Like, no, you should be happy that Toledo is getting an economy boom right now.
And I
Like,
mean,
fuck that.
and the thing is they filmed at the casino and they couldn't even close down the casino, so they were
Yeah.
filming. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting.
There
So
was a lot of challenges to that.
mhm.
Because I saw a bit of the behind the scenes on 20th Century Studios' YouTube channel.
Yeah,
That looked like there had to be a lot of choreography to it. Apparently, it's the first time a chase scene happened within a casino.
and the thing is, they say that, but it's actually not. But that's
Yeah, I kind of didn't buy that either.
yeah. There,
But
there, there's some old movie from the '70s where they had a chase scene in the casino. Yeah,
more than likely, the driver or something like that.
I can't remember. It's got a weird name. Michael DeSanto was telling me about it last night.
Yeah. So he informed you of that too.
Yeah,
Like, so with all that being said, taking my Toledo bias out of this film, I really like this movie, but it's not without its faults.
yeah.
This is a film that reminded me of another Samara Weaving movie, The Babysitter. You've seen that style of film 1,000 times, but it actually has style and a personality to it and good execution. This is not 41% on Rotten Tomatoes bad. This is the type of movie that would have been really popular, like, say, in the mid to late 2000s, early 2010s.
It would. I mean, if it came out around the time of like Gone in 60 Seconds or something like that, it would have been
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
And the film takes place between 2007 and 2021. Edie is listening to an argument with her parents on her cell phone. One of them is played by Steve Zahn.
yeah.
And Edie is a teen in Cleveland who was thrust into getaway driving as her parents have coke on them and are drunk. And at the time of this, she's 14.
And if you want to know a little behind the scenes stuff here, that was one of the last scenes filmed. They had to do reshoots because they couldn't find somebody that actually fit the role of young Edie.
Yeah, and she ends up getting pulled over. And Steve Zahn tells her to punch it. And then we fast forward to 2021, and Edie is trying to get her life straight, and she's going to community college, and she's trying to work an honest job as a bank teller. And it's at this nightclub, and they're at this nightclub, and then this guy tries to pick them up, and this guy has a Dodge Charger,
Yeah.
and then Edie's friend ends up fucking the Dodge Charger guy after joking that Samara Weaving's Evie would. Samara Weaving's excellent in this film. As Edie, like, she is this badass character, but she's allowed moments of vulnerability. So when her car is dead, you feel for her. And then she goes into work, she's late to work, and then a bank robbery happens, and she's knocked out after trying to retrieve a robber's gun. And I like that expectation subversion as well.
This movie does that a lot.
That's one of the things I do like.
I like it and I don't at the same time, but that's just my personal feelings. There's
Yeah.
certain times that they do it that I'm not really sure how I feel.
When she does wake up from that, she's very detailed in her description about how the bank robbery went down because she used to be a getaway driver. She knows the scene and she's lying about this. Like, oh, I go through all the things through bank robberies. So yeah, like that. And then it's revealed she's pregnant.
And so here's one of the issues I have with the film. It's confusing. So at the beginning, they say that her ex-boyfriend John and her have been broken up for 7.5 months, but she's 3.5 months pregnant, or 3 months or something. But I didn't quite catch an explanation. I watched the movie twice.
Yeah, it's actually revealed towards the end that they did hook up 3 months in that time frame.
Okay, I must have missed that completely. A lot of us did, and we were confused. We are like, okay, how is he the dad? Yeah.
And then we're introduced to her fuck up ex-boyfriend John, played by the Neon Demon's Carl Glusman. Speaking of 4Ks, that is a movie I want in 4K stat.
Yeah.
I will buy whatever super deluxe edition comes out of that. I fucking love the Neon Demon. And whereas he's the voice of reason in the Neon Demon, in here he's a total fuck up.
Yeah, then and his introduction is really interesting too because they got him running around these projects in Cleveland naked.
Yeah, completely buck naked.
And so those projects in Cleveland, they couldn't get permission to film anywhere. They paid off all the people that lived in those projects
Wow.
to shoot there. And where they're shooting, there's like hardly ever any traffic around there. So it was perfect. And yeah, and my friend Charles actually was the stand-in that day for when they were figuring out the camera work for that scene, and he had to do all that running. Uh, he offered to do it naked, but they wouldn't. They said you don't have to. So, but he was Carl's stand-in. So yeah,
Right on. One of the things I do love about Eenie Meanie is how this film captures the grit of Ohio, be it Toledo or Cleveland or Sandusky for some reason.
yeah, it's where they can shoot.
Whereas Cherry, the Russo brothers' post Avengers Endgame movie, I felt really didn't capture that grit.
Yeah. I mean the director Sean Simmons, he's from Boston, and he kind of wanted to have like an area of the country that was similar in feel to Boston, but not necessarily Boston because they couldn't film there and stuff. So Cleveland was
Right.
a nice substitute.
Yeah, and that and tax incentives.
Yeah.
While all this is going on, Edie discovers John is in trouble, and she ends up rescuing him. And then John ends up in an apartment that he thinks is his friend's, only to find out that friend no longer occupies the apartment. And then all this shit is going down. And then the tenant of that apartment and his girlfriend are killed by the men who are chasing after him. And then they find Sweetie's car, and it starts off with this really great chase scene. I really dug it. And apparently Samara Weaving didn't know how to drive prior to shooting this.
Yeah, she lied and said she did.
Like you wouldn't have guessed that when she's behind the wheel.
Yeah.
This chase scene is fucking incredible.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, like if like how they do a lot of the chase stuff. I mean, I'll talk about it later when we get to the other part of the movie. But yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then John closes with Bitch I'm from Cleveland, which thank Christ they didn't get MGK to play this role.
Yeah.
And then they find a guy in a box, and he's played by Randall Park. And they try to bring him back alive, and there's a really funny bit in this where John's like, okay, let's go get something to eat. You want burgers? And Randall Park's character is a vegetarian.
Yeah.
And then they pull in the burger joint, and Randall Park gets gooified when he gets out of the car.
Yeah, it reminded me of like the first episode of The Boys in a way.
Exactly. And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
And then we get to Nico, who's basically Edie's handler, and he's played by Andy Garcia. And he gives her the nickname Eenie Meanie.
Yeah.
Because she's a teenager and she's mean.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I mean, you got I mean her last name I guess is Meanie. It's Meaniey, but yeah.
Yeah.
That IE like the title like this title is kind of weird to me. But anyways,
yeah. I kind of like the original title, Stick Shift.
Yeah.
Even
it should have gone. I think Stick Shift was too generic.
Yeah.
And Eenie Meanie sounds like either like a horror film or a kids film.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting too. Yeah, and then you got like the partner of Nico, who George, played by Mike O'Malley, who's always off.
I kind of felt he was underutilized in this film, but I do like Mike O'Malley in this role.
Yeah, he's amazing in anything. I mean, he was the best part in Glee.
And there is one scene that happens when we're introduced to Nico, where Nico tells John about the time he's sticking up somebody, and then a surprise party happens, and then they shoot at him.
Yeah.
It's like a scene of the year candidate. Like, that is such a perfectly timed comedic scene.
And that was filmed in Toledo.
Yeah, I could tell. I could tell that was filmed in Toledo.
Yeah, it was really really interesting. I was on set when they were trying to find the place to film it because they had lost their last place that they were supposed to film it, and then they had to find a mansion in Toledo to film it because the way the schedule was working.
So, and then we're introduced to the heist, where Hollywood Casino itself is crucial to the film.
Mhm.
And they have to steal a car at Hollywood Casino while poker tournament is going on, and they have to rig it up with a different one because you legally cannot have gas in the tank if you have a car like that inside a casino,
Yeah,
as the film explains.
which which is really interesting because the actual car that they used in the movie was an electric vehicle.
Right?
Yeah. So not I mean not on the I mean they had like probably about 10 versions of that car, but the one in the casino or the actually the several in the casino that they used during filming were all the gas engine was replaced with an electric engine because that way it was quiet in the casino. So yeah.
Right. And like I said earlier when we introduced Eenie Meanie, I love that this is you have to go to this newly opened casino in Cleveland.
Hmm.
Like, how like Toledo is crucial to the film.
Yeah. I mean they did have to create a hotel connected to the casino that doesn't exist.
Right, right.
Which I another behind the scene thing really quick too. They created the entrance for the hotel part of the casino as I mean on the actual casino property, and they shot a whole scene that got cut from the movie, which makes me mad because my dad was in it like prominently and as a security guard. So yeah, and
Oh,
they
wow.
cut it. So yeah, he still appears in the movie in another shot, but yeah,
Nico forces Edie to do this heist because of John.
yeah,
Edie's telling John that she's trying to go straight and they need a car. Then Edie offers Stilts, the guy that was hitting on them, $40,000. And the baby's mama tells him to take the money.
yeah, because he's not been paying child support. So yeah,
And while this is going on, they stop and play pool at a bar, and you have John dancing to the stroke. This is one of those scenes where it's like, okay, I feel like this is filler because it goes on for a pretty long time. And
yeah.
it's like, okay, let's just get to the point of the scene already.
It
Because we know,
it goes on a little bit, but I think the purpose of it in a way was to kind of like endear you more to John, but
yeah,
then it's undercut by things he does afterwards. So it's like okay,
right.
yeah,
And then, of course, we get to the obligatory fight where the pool players are fighting John. And then we meet the guy who's setting up this heist, Jermaine Fowler. And they use an actual Hollywood casino blueprint
yeah,
to set up this heist.
yeah. They had a premiere the other night at the Hollywood Casino where for a lot of VIPs and stuff involved with the thing. Um, Set up horribly though, sound wise, from what I was told, but everybody got all excited when they saw the blueprint of the casino.
Nice. And one of the issues I do have with this film is the expository dialogue. Because Jermaine Fowler's character just straight up tells us about Edie instead of showing us.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that where I think they should have shown it. They could have still have the characters tell it, and then also when they're describing what they're going to do in the heist, you don't have your obligatory um like you do in like Ocean's 11 or something like that, where you actually show somehow what's supposed to happen, like a reenactment of it or something. It's just it feels a little dull because there's no visuals with it.
And it's right down to the fact that Edie describes Jermaine Fowler's character as the Wikipedia of her life,
Yeah,
in which we find out that her foster father tried to traffic her at 15. And then she meets John because John beat the shit out of her foster father. And then John was the driver in a heist where Edie almost dies. And this is stuff I would have liked to have seen
Yeah,
instead of being told. Because that sounds like a great movie in and of itself, right there.
yeah, and I mean, because like the number one rule of filmmaking is show don't tell, and yeah, it's just yeah,
And now with Netflix, we're living in a tell don't show world.
mm-hmm,
Because people are more than likely going to watch this film half watching it while scrolling on their phone.
yeah,
And then we get the obligatory heist montage that's set to ZZ Top's Just Got Played. And I like that. And I'm not sure if this is him or not, but I like that Dean Winters shows up to play a sleazy car dealer.
yeah, that is him. Yeah, yeah, they got like a bunch of really decent actors for like a day or two to
Yeah.
film their parts, and I think that's where you were talking about like the underuse of Michael Malley. I think it was down to like how many days they had him and stuff like that, and they only had like Andy Garcia for a week and stuff like that too. So,
But one thing I will say about Eenie Meanie is they did film Hollywood Casino beautifully.
hmm
And then we're introduced to Marshawn Lynch as Perm. And one of the other funny scenes in this film is it's revealed Perm has this huge scar on his face because the chemicals from the Jerry curl in his hair caught on fire.
yeah, it's interesting. I was there. So the scene in the restaurant there.
Yeah.
I was in the background, but my angle is never used in that scene. Um, I was there for 12 hours that day to shoot that one scene.
I actually toyed with being an extra on that, but I wasn't sure if I could do like 12 hours, especially given with my job and the fact that at that time frame I was working like 50 to 60 hours a week.
I got lucky where my boss was giving me off the days to do it. Um, and like the first day there was like issues with getting extras because something happened with the people that were supposed to be scheduled and the information that they had. So they ended up having to call people they already had information for, and I was one of them. So that's why I got there the first day of the of that or that day there where they were filming the scene. And it was so cool to watch, regardless. Um, Even though I was stuck in the background with food and stuff like that, and they gave you like plates and stuff to eat, and they gave me a plate of food, but only a knife. I mean, I think I had two knives, no forks or spoons or anything. So it's really weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, it's Disney. They can at least fork you over a fork for you.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it was weird. Like then this other guy, he he only had like it's like the silverware that they gave us was all like messed up, and it was like four of us sitting in a booth that never gets seen in the shot. So it was like I'm here there the whole day, and it was fun to see like Marshawn Lynch is on set. He's just like he's dancing to like hip hop music the whole time up until they say action on his phone.
So you were within eyesight of Marshawn Lynch then.
I talked to him later too. Um, right before, so I saw them setting up like where they had us in what they call holding, like when they were waiting for us to go back to set. Um, the scene where he gets burned with his perm and everything. Um, they they took a room off the side of this sports bar at the casino and dressed it up to look like whatever room he was in where he burned himself. And I saw them setting up that room as they were dressing it and everything while I was just waiting on set. And then later, when I was waiting for my ride to pick me up, me and this guy Charles, who was stand-in for that day with for Carl, um, we were just waiting on a bench outside, and he comes walking by with the Jerry curl on and all that other stuff, and he's on his cell phone, and he's just like fussing to somebody that he's talking to on there, and then he looks at us and he's like, sorry about the language, guys.
Nice.
And I said, no problem. I've heard worse. And he just laughed at that and then kept walking. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He seems like a really cool guy.
I have no comment.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, that's all I'm going to say. To me, he seemed cool, but I'm just going to say no comment based on other things. So
But Marshawn Lynch is actually really good in this role. Go ahead.
I said he's a good actor. Yeah, that's all.
And I do like his philosophy on life, in which he says, like, the only time he saw his father in a suit was when he was buried. And then he says, I want to be buried in pajamas.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually an interesting thought process right there. And then we get to Jermaine Fowler wearing a Hollywood casino robe, which apparently was doubled up to look like a hotel room within the casino.
Yeah, they when they show the exterior shot of the casino, they digitally added a hotel behind it.
And
Built this
her,
hotel stuck on a set. Yeah, that they so if I'm just gonna tell people if you're interested in seeing me in the movie, there's a scene where this guy wins this poker tournament that the money that's gonna be put in the car is in. I'm in the background of that scene. So
oh yeah, we got a little too far there.
yeah.
I meant to say Perm tried to hijack Edie, and that's how they met.
Yeah.
And they find Perm's car in the Hollywood casino parking garage. So they find out he's in on the heist. And then we cut to the scene with Edie's biological father, played by Steve Zahn, who's in a wheelchair now.
That she put him in.
Yeah. It's okay. So I want your confirmation on this because this looked like it was filmed in Toledo. Was that the case?
I think it was Lakewood.
Yeah. Because it seemed like from a distance, like they shot it at a house that was right by Toledo Hospital. That looked like that same roundabout right where North Cove is.
It was in the Cleveland area.
Oh, it was Cleveland?
Yeah, I think it was like Lakewood, Ohio, which is near Cleveland. Yeah, so yeah, pretty sure.
Because that felt like a scene that was shot in Toledo.
Yeah, the only things I know for sure that were shot in Toledo were the stuff at the casino and that surprise party thing. Because they were in Toledo for 9 days of the shoot. They were I think they were in Cleveland for like 3 weeks or something. So yeah.
And then while this happens, like Edie finds out she has a young sister, and Edie asks his dad to be a getaway driver, it sounded like. Which I was like, okay, how? I will say the emotion of that scene between Weaving and Zahn is actually really good.
Yeah, it is. I mean the emotional scenes are really great in this movie. Whether I think the tonally in a different movie though. But yeah.
And there's a scene that happens that I thought was shot at Mommy Bay, and I reached out to Michael DeSanto prior to this, but it was apparently filmed in Cleveland, but Michael DeSanto couldn't remember where it was. But it looks exactly like it was shot at Mommy Bay State Park.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing was Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, and Edie and John open up to each other, and then they have the obligatory sex scene, and then Edie reveals she is pregnant and the kid is his. And you can see why John and Edie love each other. For all their faults, like, you get why these two are in love with each other. They do have really good chemistry together. And combine that with the fact that these are two very underrated actors that are like one big role away from superstardom.
I mean, he's been very open about this that Carl Glusman had just divorced Zoe Kravitz
Yeah.
when he started filming this movie, and he used all of his emotion into the character, and you can tell it shows really well that he uses his own personal emotion into the character of John, and I guess on set he was dealing with a lot. Like he would be really upbeat one moment, and then another moment he needed time for himself and stuff too. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand.
All right. And there's a really touching scene where John gives her the gold necklace, and then the heist starts proper.
Yeah.
And then we see the crew pose as casino attendees. Like, we see Edie breaking a cell phone and then putting it into a beer. And then we see John get his ass kicked by Nico's men. And then Edie's in the car. And then the chase happens inside Hollywood Casino. And
That
this is actually a really great chase scene. I mean, the logistics behind this must have been impossible.
they shot it that was shot over the chase scene was shot over yeah, it was like about 6 days or so. Um and they would basically literally move down they would shoot one part in one area, and then they only had a limited amount of extras, so then they'd move us all to the other part, and then they go further down the aisle where she was shooting. It's really cool too, and like when she like hits a cop with the car, and this guy like literally like flipped over the car and stuff. It was crazy, the stunt man.
Yeah.
And right before she hits him, um, where we were starting that day, I'm sitting at a at a slot machine, and they park the car right next to me.
Ooh.
So I was literally like 2 feet away from Samara Weaving the whole time.
Wow.
Every time we
I am legit jealous.
yeah, and we would just like look at each other and stuff and like smile while we're waiting and stuff. It was just crazy. And yeah, we're not allowed to talk to anybody unless they talk to us first, because that's, I'm not gonna you don't want to get in their head or anything.
Right.
But she would look over and kind of like have the smile on her face, like, okay, let's get this over with, sort of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And because we were doing this. This wasn't like during the day. We were doing this all night long. So we were up like, we would come in for some of those nights. We would come in at like 6 p.m. and not leave until 6 or 7 in the morning. So yeah.
And then while all this is going on, like, she finds out the car is bulletproof. And
Well,
we're going.
they
Go
they
ahead.
had they had set it up like they had a scene earlier where they were replacing the windows and everything with bulletproof windows.
Yeah. But in Edie's perspective, it was like she thought she was about to die. And I like that they're going through the parking garage or breaking the actual fence of the Hollywood casino. Like, I like that they actually broke off a piece of that fence, because I drove right by there for like my mini Ryan Watches review of it to film some segments.
Yeah, yeah, it was interesting too in the casino too. We had some instances where the car hit real slot machines they weren't supposed to hit, and
Yeah.
by mistake, because it's interesting the way they film it too. Like when she's in the car, she's like when they're doing like close-ups and stuff. Sometimes it's just a car with her in it. A lot of times there's a stunt driver that's dressed up just like her. And then there's a car that has a guy on the top of the car that's actually driving while she's sitting in the car. So it's really interesting to see how they do that. And yeah, and it was just crazy times. Yeah, and then they built a fake slot machine that this guy gets like thrown into at one point. So yeah.
Right. And I love how they made no effort into making the Toledo police look like Toledo police. They're like dressed up in like really cheap cop costumes.
Yeah, I think legally they couldn't. So
Right.
the rights to the logos and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, an interesting thing I didn't know too is, so like in the scenes like earlier on in Cleveland and stuff, um, none of those cars had license plates on them. Those were all digitally added.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, I could kind of tell, but I didn't realize it because I wasn't really paying attention to that. But yeah, it's interesting because I guess they can't have them on certain sets or something. Like you can't have fake license plates for some reason. So
Right.
yeah.
And then while this chase is going on through Hollywood Casino, they teleport to Sandusky for this chase, because now all of a sudden they're in Sandusky on the Sandusky Speedway.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, the main thing is it's like something you wouldn't notice unless you're from.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you have Perm on her tail, and Perm ends up taking a cop car out. While all this happens, they get into Sandusky Speedway, and then John's car flips over. And then Perm takes the car with all the money in it. They track down the money, and Perm specifically.
Yeah.
And then Perm's girlfriend tries to run over Edie in a Tesla. And I love that Tesla is shown in a bad light in this film.
That was the funniest scene. I got cracked up on that because it's like the Tesla won't run over Edie because it's like it can't run over people.
I love that. That goes to my main issue, my other main issue with this film. This film goes full Return of the King with the endings.
Yeah, there's the last half hour of the movie drags.
Like, the last 20 minutes or so is like, pick an ending
Mm-hmm.
and stick with it. Because we have a scene that could be an ending. We have another scene that could be an ending. We have another scene that could be an ending. We have another scene that could be an ending. And another scene that could be an ending.
Yeah, and the thing is like we were saying earlier, you could have had a lot of these things that were spoken, the exposition that was spoken, or other things that they could have filmed of like younger Edie and stuff like that, and used your money for that as opposed to filming these multiple endings.
And then we get to them, they got the money, and then they go to Nico's henchman. And then John just kills Nico's henchman.
Yeah, well, he's killing Jermaine Fowler's character of the chaperone, and then Chris
Yeah.
Chris Bauer's character of Gary, who he kept having to apologize to earlier, but he shoots him and says, "Sorry, Gary," um, which it was like kind of out of place, but it was still funny. But
Yeah.
that I don't know, and the movie takes a weird turn right there too.
And then it's revealed they're in the car, they're sharing a moment together, and then Edie kills John.
After because he's the liability, and mainly because he's got some. I mean, he's obviously got some mental issues that cause him to be violent. So yeah.
And I do like the acting in this scene between Glussman and Samara Weaving. I know I'm being a broken record about this, but these two are incredibly underrated actors.
Oh, and they're great. And I mean, like I said, I mean, like seeing them on set, like I mean, I only was really around for the scene that was with uh with Marshawn Lynch in the restaurant, and watching Samara go from her regular accent into her American accent, like on a dime, and then see him kind of just walk in there and do his thing. They were just great.
Yeah, Samara Weaving is so fucking cool.
Yeah. And man, she's not trying to like, break it down to looks, but in person, she's like 10 times more beautiful in person than she is on film.
I bet. I bet.
It's just like amazing. Yeah.
And
And
then
and
go ahead.
Carl Gusman is like like looks amazing too in person. I mean, if you're going for that too. So I'm just saying.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then we get back to Cleveland, and Edie is in Nico's house with a gun. And Nico tells her killing John was the right thing. And here's another performance I didn't really bring up, but Andy Garcia is really good in this at
Yeah.
Nico. I completely forgot to give Andy Garcia his flowers, and I'm kicking myself over that.
Mhm.
It's like towards the end of this podcast recording, that's like, fuck, I don't think I praised Andy Garcia yet.
Yeah. I mean, this whole cast is great in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
like even the smallest role, it's just yeah.
And it's revealed that Nico knows that Michael Malley's character, Georgie, has been stealing from him. And then Edie goes into this really good scene that she found solace in a bathroom, which is why she wants a house with two bathrooms. That's her goal.
Mhm.
And then Edie just low-key tells Nico, I already took 20% of the heist. And
Yeah.
then Edie leaves a gun for Nico for him to kill Georgie. the end of the film happens. They're in Massachusetts, and Edie's now an auto mechanic, tow truck driver, and her kid is with her, and I believe she's living with her friend from the beginning of the film.
Yes. Yeah, it's like in their family. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, they're in Massachusetts and they yeah, that whole so that was filmed in Cleveland. Um and from what I heard, it took them a long time to like cast the kids in that scene. And I think the scene would have worked better. Here's my thing. You could have added some like levity to it or something. When you see her son, have him playing with like a Hot Wheels car or something.
Yeah,
Just like and then her looking like, oh no. Like, like
yeah,
she's trying to get over this whole thing and like put something in there that would have made that scene feel justified to me. But
yeah,
otherwise that scene was just pointless.
yeah. It that should have been more or less like the proper ending.
Hmm.
At the same time, it's like we have to deal with these 5 other endings because they forgot to tie up these loose ends.
Yeah.
And really, this should have been condensed a lot more.
Yeah, I mean the movie's not long at all. It's like an hour and a half or something, but it's still
It's an hour 47 minutes
yeah.
with credits.
Yeah, which, isn't, really it's really just basically an hour and a half with some I mean a little bit over an hour and a half with some credits. But yeah, it's like I mean, and this is his first feature, Sean.
Yeah,
Um, I think I mean it was a good effort. I mean, it's a good film, and I don't think there's anything. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's just watching it twice made me see like all of the unevenness of it. But yeah,
out of 5, what would you give this?
I give it like a 3.5 or a 4. Um, maybe a 4. Yeah, I think a 4 because of the acting. And I mean, like, yeah, and the direction was good. It's just there's a little and the cinematography. So the cinematographer, find his name really quick because I want to give him credit. I think the cinematography was beautiful.
Yeah, and that's what I meant, going back to what I said when we first started talking about this. Like, this film captures the grit of Ohio.
Because the director of photography. That's not the guy I'm thinking of. Oh no, the assistant director was great, but Tim Ives is great as the cinematographer. But the guy I was thinking of is like the guy that was like doing a lot of the lighting and stuff too. Um, the first assistant director, this guy Milos Milcevic. This guy. He's in the surprise party scene. He's like a really tall, balding guy with a beard.
Mm-hmm.
He's very intimidating in person. That's all I just wanted to say. But he's so good at his job and getting people to do what they want to do. But the seeing the way that they do everything behind the scenes, this movie, it's amazing that they pulled off what they did. So yeah.
Exactly. I ended up giving this a 4 too, because I really did dig this movie. And if
Mhm.
I weren't from Toledo, I'd still give it the same star rating.
Yeah, me too.
But I just think it's really cool that Toledo is getting its shine. And we have people like Andy Garcia saying Hollywood Casino in Toledo, Ohio. That's just really cool to me.
It's really funny too because he was never in Toledo for filming, because his character's never at the casino. I remember when the movie came out. I mean not came out, but when it was being filmed, there were people because the way they advertise things, they're like, come to the casino and see stars like Andy Garcia and Steve Zahn, two of the people that were never at the casino. And so but I literally saw people on Facebook saying, I think I saw Andy Garcia at the casino last night. It's like he was never there. I thought it was funny. But yeah.
Alrighty, be sure to like, comment, share, spread the word New Rums Media. Follow me on all my socials at New Rums Media. And until then, we're strong for Toledo. Toledo.